Hello, welcome to the first tactical Tadka video of 2026, and it's about the first La Liga game of the season, which was against Betis. So, after a very slow end to 2025, जहाँ लग रहा था कि Alonso would be fired, अभी नहीं होगा, and he was basically managing to save his job every match. Finally, we had a game where we scored 5 goals, which I don't think has happened in La Liga. For I think the last game we scored 5 goals was in the 2023 uh, year. जहाँ हमने 5 गोल मारे थे, where I think Benzema scored 2 and I think maybe Rodrigo scored. But the star of the match obviously was Gonzalo Garcia. Like, this was the perfect match for the Gonzalo Garcia agenda क्योंकि काफ़ी टाइम से हम बोलते आ रहे हैं कि Gonzalo Garcia needs to start, he needs to play, he was our best player in the Club World Cup, and I mean, you can understand why he wasn't starting because obviously हमने player power की बात की है इतनी कि Vinicius, Rodrigo and the others are not okay with an academy player starting over him, and काफ़ी evident था. I mean, he scored a perfect hat trick, and वहाँ पे Vinicius Alonso को complain कर रहा था कि Gonzalo Garcia is not passing the ball and he's dribbling. This is despite the fact that Gonzalo Garcia attempted only one dribble, so and whereas Vinicius attempted more than 10 dribbles. So I'm not sure what Vinicius is doing. I think Vinicius के बारे में end में बात करेंगे, but as I said, the star of the game was Gonzalo Garcia, and given the fact that Mbappe is injured and he's probably going to be injured for the next few weeks, it's very important that Gonzalo Garcia got this hat trick going into the Super Cup, and hopefully he can now finally get more game time. I've always said whether it's Joselu, whether it's Gonzalo Garcia, sometimes you need a presence in the box when the defenders are defending deep. And ऐसा भी नहीं है where Gonzalo Garcia scored like tap-ins. He literally scored 3 bangers. The first was a header, the second was an insane chest down volley, and the third was just a striker's goal. I mean, you see Ronaldo or Cristiano score these goals. Even Mbappe can't score these goals, in my opinion, because he'll never be in the box for these chances. So it's very important that Gonzalo starts more often. I think he's a superstar. I think he's the first academy player since the 1980s to score a hat trick. So you can imagine how big a deal this is, right? So I think he's going to be a superstar. It's very important that he plays more games. And I think that's why I keep saying there are two possible scenarios where one, Alonso is not allowed to do what he actually wants to do because of pressure from the boards and the player. Second, he's actually succumbed and now he thinks that Gonzalo Garcia shouldn't start. Whichever one it is, both the board and the manager needs to realize that he is important if you want to do well in this season. So रही बात lineup की, let's get into the analysis. रही बात lineup की, I think the lineup sort of picked itself. The one thing I will have to give credit to Alonso is quickly realizing, one, he realized quickly that Arda initially was important when we didn't have Jude, but now he's quickly realized again that now that we have Jude, both Arda and Jude cannot play in this starting lineup, at least not in the big games. Uh, Arda cannot play deeper. He gives the ball away. He's not very good positionally when we are defending. He's very good when he's closer to the goal, closer to the strikers. As you saw, he gave the assist to Gonzalo as well. So we need Kamavinga to start. And I would say this again, as important as Mbappe is for the success of the season, I think Kamavinga is equally important. Because if he can stay fit, and if he picks up form, I think the double pivot of Chouameni and Kamavinga would be our best bet. And then add Jude to the midfield, and then we can play Rodrigo, Mbappe, Gonzalo, and Vinicius. Let's talk about Vinicius later, but three of these in the lineup. So I think that's this midfield of Chouameni, Kamavinga, and Jude is perfect for us, especially in big games. And then Arda can come off the bench and provide a cameo as he did. Uh, I mean, again, we have a lot of injuries in defense, so it's no surprise that Raul and Rudiger started. Carreras again was great, and then Valverde was at right back, which again, to be honest, I think Valverde has become a Marcos Llorente. He's great on the wing, whether you play him at right wing or right back. That's his perfect position. So it will be very interesting to see what happens to Valverde when Trent and Carvajal come back. Given that Rodrigo has started playing really well. So Rodrigo is playing amazing. He's defensively so much better. I know हम उसका मजाक उड़ाते थे about tracking back. But he genuinely does a lot off the ball. And to be honest, right now he's doing much more on the ball as well. So Rodrigo deserves a place in the starting 11. The only thing I'll say about Rodrigo is he's a very streaky player. He plays 10-15 games at an insane world class level, and then uske baad we saw what happened for like almost a year. He's not been playing well. So let's see how long can Rodrigo sustain this. But uh, for our sake, let's hope Rodrigo can play at this level, because right now, in my opinion, he's playing better than Vinicius. He gives much more to the team than Vinicius is giving. So when Mbappe is back, I would like to see Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Gonzalo start more often. So that was the lineup. I think I don't have any complaints with that. Raul and Rudiger are my least favorite centre back pairings. Uh, it's not like Dean Hoyson, who's also injured, is playing very well, but I just don't know what has happened to Rudiger. I like Raul, to be honest. He's learned from his mistakes. I think he's a very good defender, but he needs someone like Militao next to him who can, keep some calm in the back line. Rudiger and Raul together are just it's like do bhai dono to bhai. I mean, it's just a mistake waiting to happen, which we saw in the goal as well. I mean, that we shouldn't have conceded that goal. But Betis did have some chances, by the way, but we shouldn't have conceded that goal, in our opinion. They shouldn't have switched off. Rudiger just makes too many mistakes, and I'm just dreading कि वो बड़े मैच में फिर से वही गलती करेगा जो उसने सिटी के अगेंस्ट की. It's just getting too much now. I think I would get rid of Rudiger. Usually उल्टा होता है because he's in a contract, last year of his contract, you start playing well, but I think Rudiger has gone the opposite way. I think it's time to send him off to some other club. And I've heard reports of Nico Schottelbach. I think we should go for an established defender now. I like him. We should not try and go for someone on a free like Konate. What's the point? वैसे ही सारे लंगड़े हैं हमारे डिफेंस में, एक और को लेने का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. Unless we can get like Gabriel or Saliba, which looks highly doubtful, I think we should try and go for like Schottelbach or some other established defender. Schottelbach is very versatile as well. He can play in a three at the back. He can play as a full back as well, and he's very pacey, so he could be a good addition to the team. Yeah, that was the lineup. I think more or less everyone played well. We've seen this trend where we basically score one goal, which came from a cross from Rodrigo, and Gonzalo headed it in. Again, the cross wasn't great, I would say. I don't think it was planned that Gonzalo is going to be there, but Gonzalo key movement was insane, and that's why you need a striker. His movement was just insane. I don't remember the last headed goal we scored. I think Jude scored very recently. So it looks like Alonso is actually working on set pieces and crosses in the box, which is important because हमारा next game अभी आज Atletico के साथ है, and we know what they're gonna do, right? So we need to practice set pieces, and we saw that we can actually score from them as well now. But Gonzalo ki movement on that goal was insane. Like, he lost his defender and then great header, right? And you need a striker to score those goals. Rodrigo, Vinicius, even Mbappe can't score these goals because they just don't have the instinct, right? It's just a different position. Uh, what I will credit Alonso was the subs as well. I think it should have come 10 minutes earlier, or maybe 5-7 minutes earlier than it did. But I mean, I can understand why he didn't make these subs. Vinicius should have gone off because he lost steam. After the first 20 minutes, Vinicius was not playing well. I mean, he was okay. That's the thing. Vinicius has just been okay. He's what Rodrigo was last season. Just okay. No output at all. I mean, I do think he would have he should have gotten the penalty. Referees की तो क्या ही बात करें. I mean, I can make hours and hours of content about how bad the La Liga referees are, but so he should have gotten a penalty, which he would have taken. I don't know if he would have scored or not. In my opinion, Jude should have taken the penalty. अगर मिलती है तो Vinicius is not a good penalty taker. But yeah, I mean, Vinicius is just okay, and he should have come off around the 65th minute. But how Zabi was already doing it before the Clasico, वो उसको निकाल देता था when he was not playing well, and he brought on Arda and Mastantuano for Vinicius and Rodrigo, which were great subs, but they should have come 5-7 minutes earlier. And given the fact that Vinicius was already crying that he was taken off, he went into the tunnel much before everyone else at the final minute as well, final whistle as well. He shook hands with Alonso, but all is not well with Alonso and Vinicius. And I would say this as not just for the Alonso regime. I don't know when Alonso leaves. It's possible he leaves after the Super Cup. If we don't win, it's possible he gets given till the end of the season. I don't think we should fire him. I think those are not the problems. The problems are much deeper. For example, how these players have egos without actually playing well for the last 2 years now. They need to clamp down on those egos. And to be honest, Vinicius and Valverde are the two players who have a lot of say in the dressing room and are the two players who probably have the most problems with Alonso. So we need to sort it out. There has been rumors of an offer from Chelsea from Vinicius. I think we should consider it. I have always defended Vinicius, even if when he played bad or he had those antics where he was, doing more, uh, you know, disruptions than actually playing well. I've always defended him, but I can't defend him now because, in my opinion, uh, when you're not playing well, you should not be disrupting the dressing room. And I feel like after the Clasico, everything went downhill. And that's why I have faith in like Alonso's system actually working. But seriously, if I'm Perez, I should look at Vinicius's performances, who's not scored for the last 20 games, I think. He has less. If Gonzalo plays the same amount of goals, I'm sure he scores more goals than Vinicius. So the fact that he hasn't scored in 20 games is insane. Like, you can't be at Real Madrid being a starting forward and not score goals. I mean, look at Rafinha on the other hand. He's just putting in great performances, and that's how Vinny should be. And he's just not there. And it's not under Alonso that he's not been there. It's also under Ancelotti that he's not been there. It's not just about him not getting chances. He's creating chances, or others are creating chances for him, but he's missed so many. Like the City game, for example. Even yesterday, he should have tried to get at least one goal. And again, if the penalty was given, it would have been a different game. But I just think Vinicius' time is coming to an end at Real Madrid. The sooner we realize it, the better would be. Otherwise, ये 3-4 managers के job खाएगा, and we might be in for a long haul where we don't win for a long time, and then we need a manager, Mourinho, who can bench these players and keep egos in check. But I feel like Vinicius is getting a lot of support from Perez. You could see, like, I think it was a Alaves game where he was getting subbed off, and Perez was saying, why is he being taken off? He was the worst player on the pitch. He got booed by Bernabeu, and your president is saying, why is Vinicius being taken off? I mean, I think the president. See, I will say this. I mean, just because he's the president of Real Madrid, I genuinely don't think he's that good at understanding football. He's been very slow a lot of times in understanding the needs of the club, and he's put commercial success of the club above the sporting success, right? Selling Makalele, for example, he did not realize until Casemiro, or like he did not realize until 2009-10 when he bought Alonso and Sami Khedira, that a CDM is also important, right? He sold Makalele for Beckham, whatever the reasons might be, and we did not win the Champions League for 10 years. So Perez realizes things very slow. He's great from a from a commercial perspective, but from a sporting perspective, I think Perez makes wrong decisions, and I think this might be one of them. Like the team is not that well created. We are not able to compete with Premier League teams or PSG for players. We can't compete with their financial prowess because it's oil money. We don't have that. So we have a very, we've collected players who are very good individually, but there's no balance, right? And if there's no balance, you need to give the manager more power, right? Alonso should have the power to make the decisions. Otherwise, the manager change Carlo, what's going to happen? Is Vinicius suddenly going to start playing better? It's not going to happen, right? Is Rodrigo going to continue his? In fact, I would argue that the fact that uh, Alonso benched Vinicius, he started playing well. Like Clasico, he absolutely cooked. That was because there was competition. Without competition, players get complacent and they don't play, right? So I genuinely believe either Vinicius sets his attitude right, or maybe it's time to sell Vinicius, because I don't think Vinicius and Mbappe can survive in the team together. Tactically भी देखा जाए तो ये what we see against Betis was that the whole team was pressing and playing well off the ball, and Vinicius was giving a free role. So he was pressing up front on his own or relaxing. But if Mbappe comes to this team as well, you can't have two players having a free role off the ball. Modern football has changed. It's just not going to happen. You don't need to press, right? Pressing is not a prerequisite for success. But if everyone's doing that, then you at least have to prepare for it, right? Alonso has been very clear, off the ball, we have to press and everyone has to do it, right? So you can give the free role to, say, Mbappe, who deserves it, right? Mbappe scored 50, 60 goals last year. So he deserves to be the star. And as Benzema said, Vinicius would have to accept that he's the Robin in the team, right? He's not Batman of the team. He is the Robin. And काफ़ी लंबा वो हो गया Vinicius and Valverde both. Valverde needs to realize he's not been playing well, and he came out in support of Vinicius. He's been booed for 3 straight home games now when he's taken off, and Valverde came out in support of Vinicius. I just think that Vinicius and Valverde both have created issues in the dressing room, and that's one of the reasons of our poor form. We were playing really well. It was our best start to the La Liga season in ages. We were scoring. Yes, Atletico game happened, but that was a one-off. We've had injuries, but I think, yeah, I think firing Alonso would not change anything. I think at some point the club would need to realize you either sign players, like we need a controlling midfielder. We play Gonzalo, or we need a striker, and we need maybe a centre back. Either we sign those players, or we give the coach more power. Otherwise, it won't happen. We won't win anything, right? We just won't. So the club needs to evolve to manager being a manager and not just a coach or a man manager. This team does not require a man manager right now. This team requires a total overhaul and tactical sort of influx. In terms of who the best player of the match was, it was obviously Gonzalo Garcia. Perfect hat trick. I just love watching Gonzalo play. He just gives so much. I think it's not just us, and it's also the Bernabeu. Like when they see like academy players doing well and academy players scoring and working hard off the ball, they genuinely feel good. So I mean, man of the match, Gonzalo Garcia. Special mention to Jude and Kamavinga as well. I think they were great. Jude का role more and more defined हो रहा है अब. He's not playing as a 10, and I don't think he should play as a 10 right now. Especially if you have Gonzalo, he should play as sort of the commander of the midfield, because Tchouaméni and Kamavinga are not great at getting the ball forward. Jude is like absolutely insane. He's such a talent. He gets the ball. He can do great things with the ball. He needs to see more of the ball, and his his role needs to be more defined. Another thing I'll say about Gonzalo, which I kind of missed, was his layoff. How will he play when Mbappe comes back? You need to realize that Mbappe would thrive off Gonzalo, right? Because Gonzalo is good at laying off the ball. He had this one layoff which almost reached Jude, but reached Carreras instead, and it led to a goal. I think Gonzalo is great at holding the ball off and like playing the Benzema role. So I genuinely think Mbappe would actually play better with Gonzalo in the team rather than Vinicius. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Mbappe and Gonzalo. Uh, I think Carreras had a good game. Valverde had a good game again at right back. Courtois made some important saves. Again, Raul was great, but like they just make mistakes together. So that's my concern. Worst players, I'm not sure. I would say Vinicius just because 20 goals without a goal, 20 games without a goal is just not acceptable. Uh, if Mbappe was fit, I would have benched him for the Atletico game and played Mbappe, Gonzalo, and Rodrigo. Let's see if it happens or not. But I don't know. If Mbappe comes back and if we drop Gonzalo Garcia, it's going to be bad, especially against Atletico. Maybe it works against Barca if we win, but against Atletico, we need Gonzalo Garcia. It's not clear. I'm not sure if we'll win against Atletico, given that they are always our bogey team and we don't have the defense to deal with their crosses. Uh, but the good thing is we have Kamavinga, so I'm hoping that Kamavinga and Gonzalo together, and we need a very good performance from Vinicius. Given that Mbappe is not back, we need a very, very good performance from Vinicius. Arda was good when they came on. Arda and Mastantuano both were decent. Mastantuano should it brings a lot of energy, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him because when we were winning initially, he was playing a lot of those games. So again, if he's competing for the place with Rodrigo, it's gonna be good. Uh, yeah, I think pretty good. Let's not forget that Betis uh, have not been beaten in the last 7 games, apart from the Barca game that they lost. So this we were playing against a really good team, despite not having Isco. But it was a great start to the year, and hopefully we can continue the momentum. I still have my concerns because it's not as if all the bad things that we've been seeing for the last 1 or 2 months in December and November went away. We fell asleep after the first goal, for example. We have this drop of intensity. We need our leaders back. I'm hoping that Carvajal comes back soon because whenever he's there, uh, the drop in intensity is less. So I hope we get Carvajal back soon. I hope we get Trent back. Um, and we need to stop sitting back once we get the 1-0. We need to keep going and try and score and not let the other team get back. The last thing I'd say is 5 goals, all 5 scored by La Fabrica players. Raul Asensio also got his goal, very weird header, but usko bhi mil gaya. And then finally, Fran Garcia came on, and that's basically 4 goals for Garcia's. So, I mean, I like how Alonso uses Fran. Whenever we need more defensive stability, he just brings Fran as a winger so he can support Carreras and the defense a bit more. So overall, I was very happy with the subs. I really hope Alonso is not fired even if we lose against Atletico. He needs a bit more time, and more than that, it's not going to change anything. The board is not going to give the new manager power, and we'll just see more managers just being firing before we actually win something. Either we sign players and get a manager, or we give more power to the manager. So that's all from the tactical Tadka session. Let me know in the comments what you think about the performance and what else you want me to talk about in the next episode of Tactical Tadka. Hala Madrid, and good luck for the Super Cup.